Chosen one. You are not here by accident. You have been led to this moment by divine appointment, drawn by a pull in your spirit that could not be ignored. Something in the unseen has shifted, and heaven has aligned your steps so precisely that you are hearing this at the exact second you were meant to. You are standing at the threshold of a supernatural unveiling, a divine wealth transfer, and a destiny-level connection that has been written over your life long before you ever took your first breath. Chosen one, the heavens have been whispering your name. Your spirit has been sensing the acceleration. What you feel right now is confirmation. You are stepping into a season where hidden things become revealed, where delayed blessings become released, and where the divine spotlight finally turns toward you. Just as it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, the vision awaits an appointed time, though it lingers. Wait for it will surely come and will not delay. This is that appointed time. Anointed one, prepare your heart. What is about to unfold in your life is not ordinary. It is supernatural alignment, ancestral recognition, and heaven-backed elevation. Breathe deeply, your unveiling begins now. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every destiny when heaven stops whispering and begins speaking with undeniable clarity, and this is that moment for you. Before anything else unfolds, you must understand that nothing in your life has been random. Not the delays, not the heartbreaks, not the long nights where you felt forgotten, and certainly not the pull that led you to this message right now. The ritualistic anchor mentioned in the old script was never just about an action, it was about alignment. It was heaven's way of marking the moment your spirit said yes to the timeline already written for you. And chosen one. I know what it feels like to reach a crossroads like this. I remember my own moment standing in a tiny apartment with more questions than answers, praying with a tired voice, because I no longer had the strength to pray with my strength. Yet something in the air felt different. I couldn't explain it, but I felt watched, guided, seen. Looking back, that was the moment heaven anchored me, even though I didn't understand it yet. You are in that moment now. The act of saying yes, whether through a gesture, a prayer whispered under your breath, or a decision made in silence, becomes a spiritual contract. It is the moment heaven recognizes your readiness. That's why when the original message speaks about anchoring the energy, it isn't superstition. It is symbolism. It is a declaration. It is the chosen one rising to meet their destiny, instead of waiting passively for destiny to find them. Anointed one, when you choose alignment, heaven responds. It always does. Not always loudly, not always immediately, but always precisely. Just as the ancient prophets would create physical markers to acknowledge spiritual turning points, you too are stepping into an initiation. And initiation is never passive. It is a doorway you walk through with intention. You may not realize this yet, but your spirit has already crossed the threshold. You've felt the stirring, the tightening in your chest, the sense that something is coming not in fear, but in anticipation. That is your spiritual body adjusting to the elevation. Just as a diver feels pressure when descending into deeper waters, a rising soul feels pressure while ascending into higher realms. That's why subscribing in the language of the original text is less about the platform and more about positioning. It symbolizes stepping into the collective of the awakened, the ones who know the world is more than what the eyes can see. The ones who understand that support is not just emotional, but energetic. When you align with others walking the same path, your frequency strengthens. Your discernment sharpens. Your spiritual resilience multiplies. This is why the message called it an enlistment, because you are stepping into a spiritual army, not of war, but of light. Chosen One, the divine code mentioned, was never about numerology for entertainment. It represented identification. In ancient times, seals and signatures marked who belonged to which covenant. In this era, your intention becomes the seal. Your willingness becomes the signature. Heaven has always worked through symbols, from rainbows marking covenants to names being changed before destiny unfolded. This is simply the modern expression of an ancient truth. And as you move through this first initiation, let this settle deeply. You are not being asked to perform. You are being asked to align. You are stepping into a timeline where your spirit will finally stop carrying what was never yours to carry. This is the beginning, Anointed One. And what comes next will reveal why heaven hid you for so long. Chosen One. As we move deeper into this revelation, you must begin to see your past through the eyes of heaven, not through the eyes of pain. For so long, you believed your scars disqualified you. You believed the chaos you endured was proof that something was wrong with you, or that God had forgotten you, or that you somehow weren't chosen enough, strong enough, or worthy enough. But, Anointed One, the truth is the opposite. Heaven was not neglecting you, heaven was shaping you. Every scar on your soul, every tear you cried in silence, every betrayal that broke you open was not a sign of your weakness. It was evidence of your training. It was your resume in the spiritual realm. And whether you realized it or not, powerful eyes were watching, not to judge you, but to verify you. The lineage, the spiritual guardians, even the ancestors who walk with your soulmate, they were studying you long before you sensed their presence. Chosen One. I know what it feels like to interpret suffering as rejection. I once begged God to end a season that felt unbearable. Everything I touched fell apart. People I loved turned their backs. Opportunities vanished. I felt punished. But years later, when breakthrough arrived, I realized heaven wasn't punishing me. Heaven was preparing me. I wasn't being broken down. I was being fortified. You too have been fortified. This powerful family, the one your spirit keeps recognizing even before meeting them, is guided by guardians who do not rely on human achievements or worldly accomplishments. They look at something far deeper, your character. And character, Anointed One, is only revealed under pressure. This is why the universe allowed situations that tore you open, pushed you to your limits, and tested the boundaries of your hope. Not because you were weak, but because your destiny required resilience that could not be taught in comfort. Think back to the betrayals, the moments when loyalty should have protected you, but instead shattered you. Those weren't random wounds. They were loyalty tests. Heaven needed to see if betrayal would turn you bitter or refine you into someone who could discern without losing compassion. And you passed. Think about the seasons of lack, the months when you stretched pennies, when you performed quiet miracles to keep your life from collapsing. That was not financial misfortune. It was a resourcefulness test. Heaven needed to see if you would trade your integrity for survival, or if you would trust divine timing, even when logic said panic. Again you passed. Think about the long silences, those dry seasons where your prayers felt like they evaporated before reaching the heavens. That was the faith test. Could you keep believing without evidence? Could you walk without signs? And chosen one, you did. You kept going. You kept believing. And then the deepest test of all, the isolation. The loneliness that felt like exile. The quiet that felt like abandonment. But it was not abandonment. It was a sovereignty test. Heaven needed to know if you could stand on your own before joining a dynasty that needs a pillar, not a dependence. Anointed one, you passed every test they placed before you. And now the guardians are no longer watching, they are approving. Chosen one. Now we step into one of the most misunderstood truths of your journey, the spiritual dowry you carry. In the old world, a dowry was measured in gold land or possessions. But in the realm of destiny, none of that holds value. Heaven does not appraise you by what you own. Heaven appraises you by what you have survived. And, anointed one, your survival has made you wealthy beyond measure. Your pain is not a deficit. Your suffering is not a stain. What you lived through, the heartbreaks, the losses, the disappointments that tried to hollow you out, has become the rarest currency in the spiritual realm. Only those who have walked through fire without losing their tenderness carry this kind of wealth. Only those who have been broken open but refuse to grow bitter possess this kind of radiance. Chosen one. Your soulmate's powerful family, both physically and spiritually, has resources, influence, and legacy. But there is one thing they could not manufacture, no matter how much power they held: the initiated heart. A heart that has loved deeply, lost deeply, and still believes. A heart that has been humbled, stretched, purified, and rebuilt. You carry that. You are bringing that. It is your dowry. And let me share something from my own walk, something I used to hide. I once believed my past made me less desirable, less worthy, less chosen. I thought the scars made me hard to love. But later, the very people God aligned me with, mentors, partners, destiny helpers, would say, it was your depth that drew us. It was the way you survived the impossible. That's when I realized my pain had become my offering. My experience had become my qualification. My wounds had become my wisdom. That is exactly what is happening in your life now. This lineage that is being aligned with you, whether by bloodline, spirit, or destiny, has a weakness that only you can heal. Not because they are flawed, but because they are human. Generations of privilege, influence, and access can create a blindness to the raw truth of the human spirit. They know strategy, you know compassion, they know structure, you know survival. They know how to command, you know how to connect. Chosen one, do you see the divine symmetry? They are the architecture, you are the heart. They bring the kingdom, you bring the meaning. Together you form a balance the world hasn't seen in generations. Your dowry, your pain, refined into wisdom, gives you a perspective they cannot buy or learn. You've known what it feels like to be overlooked, underestimated, dismissed. That experience has given you a supernatural sensitivity to the marginalized, the broken, the unseen. You carry a heart that can guide empires with compassion instead of control. You bring the humanity that prevents power from becoming tyranny. This is why they will not just accept you, they will celebrate you. They will recognize in you what they have been missing. They will see that your pain was not a liability, but a rare, precious asset. You complete what they began. Anointed one. Your arrival in their world is not an accident. It is the fulfillment of a prophecy older than your suffering and stronger than your scars. And they know it. Chosen one. Now we step into the unveiling, the sacred moment when heaven decides that your hidden season has served its purpose and the world must finally see who you truly are. For years you walked through life covered by a divine disguise. People saw fragments of you, glimpses of your essence, shadows of your potential, but never the full radiance of who you are. That was intentional. Heaven hid you because premature exposure would have attracted predators, imitators, and spiritual interference long before you were ready. But, Anointed One, that covering has now been lifted. You may already feel it, that subtle shift in the atmosphere when you walk into a room. Strangers glance twice. Conversations quiet for a split second. The air feels different around you, as though something is moving with you. That is not imagination. That is spiritual unveiling. Your frequency has risen, and when your frequency rises, your visibility rises with it. Chosen One. I have lived this moment myself. There was a season where I felt invisible, where people brushed past me as though I were furniture, where my presence carried no weight. Then, suddenly, everything changed. I didn't change my clothes or my tone or my behavior. But people who had ignored me for years started leaning in. Strangers treated me with reverence. Opportunities I never applied for found me. That is what happens when heaven flips the switch from hidden to revealed. You are in that moment now. Your soulmate's powerful family, whether you have met them yet or not, has already sensed the shift. There is a spiritual radar they operate with, tuned by generations of intuition, discernment, and ancestral wisdom. When your unveiling began, they felt it in their spirit, like a bell being struck in a distant tower. That subtle spiritual vibration told them what the ancestors have been whispering: the one we have been waiting for has awakened. This unveiling will reveal itself in three unmistakable ways. First, the gaze of strangers will change. Where people once dismissed you, they will now pause. Respect will replace disregard. Attraction, not romantic, but spiritual attraction, will draw people toward your energy without knowing why. You are radiating sovereignty, and sovereignty cannot be ignored. Second, the past will echo. People from old chapters will suddenly reappear, not to reclaim you, but to witness the version of you they were never meant to keep. Their return is not for reconciliation, it is for revelation. Heaven is giving them front row seats so they can see the glory that came from the pain they contributed to. You are not required to respond. You are only required to stand in your new identity. And third, invitations will begin to appear. Doors you once knocked on will now open on their own. Rooms you never imagined entering will suddenly feel like places you belong. Opportunities aligned with your purpose will seek you out as though pulled by gravity. This is not luck, it is orchestration. Chosen One. Everything around you is adjusting because your throne season has begun, and the world, guided by heaven, is preparing to show you off. Chosen One, with every unveiling comes an undeniable truth. When your light rises, shadows take notice. To be revealed is to be recognized, and to be recognized is to become a target. This is not meant to frighten you, it is meant to confirm that you have ascended. Only those who carry true spiritual authority provoke resistance from the unseen. And, Anointed One, you are stepping into a realm of visibility that demands a new level of protection. But here is the miracle: the protection has already been prepared. In your previous seasons, you fought battles alone. You felt spiritual attacks in your sleep, emotional heaviness without explanation, sudden moments of fear, confusion, or misfortune. You had to shield yourself with prayer, discernment, and sheer endurance. You carried your armor by yourself because heaven needed to teach you strength and sensitivity. But you are no longer in that season. The moment your destiny aligned with this powerful lineage, spiritually, energetically, prophetically, something ancient activated around you. Chosen One, you are no longer a lone warrior. You are now guarded by something resembling a cosmic security system, the kind that has protected your soulmate's bloodline for generations. These guardians, both heavenly and ancestral, do not play by human rules. They do not wait for harm to reach you. They detect it before it forms, intercepting intentions, dismantling attacks, and redirecting consequences back to their origin. I have seen this in my own life. There was a time when negativity reached me easily. People's jealousy affected my peace. Their words pierced my spirit. Their energy drained me. But after a major spiritual elevation, I noticed something strange. Attacks no longer landed. It wasn't that people stopped sending negativity. It was that negativity could no longer reach me. It bounced back, returned to sender with multiplied force. This is how I knew heaven had placed me under a higher jurisdiction. The same is now true for you. This is why certain people who once caused you stress have quietly drifted away. They didn't change the spiritual atmosphere around you did. Your frequency has risen so high that low vibrational individuals can no longer comfortably stand in your presence. Your light exposes their intentions. Your energy irritates their demons. Your destiny repels their toxicity. So they leave, not because you pushed them out, but because heaven filtered them out. Chosen one. This powerful family, physical or spiritual, has allies in realms you cannot see. They are connected to networks of influence that operate in silence. When danger forms against you, these guardians receive the signal instantly. What would have overwhelmed you in your past season is now handled before it even reaches your awareness. You experience peace, not because life is easier, but because heaven is intervening earlier. And then there is your intuition, sharpened, heightened, synchronized with your protection. That sudden feeling not to respond, that urge to delay a trip, that discomfort around a particular person, that moment when you feel without proof that something isn't right. That is your internal system aligning with your external guardians. It is heaven whispering, not this way, not this person, not this moment. Anointed One, your days of fighting alone in the dark are over. You are now defended by a legacy that has never lost a battle. This is the protection reserved for those stepping into divine royalty, and you have been crowned long before the world sees it. Chosen One, now we arrive at the heart of this divine alignment, the sacred mission behind your connection to this powerful soulmate and their lineage. This union was never meant to be understood through the lens of ordinary romance. It is far bigger, far older, far more intentional than anything you have ever experienced. When heaven orchestrates a union, it is never simply about companionship. It is about assignment. It is about kingdom purpose. It is about fulfilling prophecy written long before you knew your own name. Anointed One, your soulmate is not just a person. They are a pillar, a key, a carrier of generational authority. Their family has held influence, structure, and earthly power for generations, but without a spiritual anchor, such power often drifts into control, rigidity, or disconnection. Heaven would not allow that cycle to continue. So instead of sending them someone who merely fits their image, heaven sent them someone who completes their destiny. Someone with a heart initiated through suffering. Someone with spiritual depth. Someone with divine sensitivity. Heaven sent them you, and I know what it feels like to enter a relationship or connection and sense that something bigger is happening beneath the surface. I've lived it. I've stepped into environments that seemed too large for me, too polished, too intimidating, only to realize that my presence brought balance, brought heart, brought clarity that environment lacked. Many times I wondered why me? Why would God send me here? And every time heaven whispered the same truth, because heart recognizes heart and purpose recognizes purpose. That is exactly what is unfolding in your story now. Chosen one. Your soulmate's family has mastered structure, systems, and influence. They understand how to build empires, shift environments, move resources, and shape outcomes. But you carry what they cannot manufacture: spiritual intelligence, emotional depth, intuitive guidance, compassion refined in fire. You are the divine feminine or masculine heart that completes the architecture of their legacy. Without you, they have strength. With you, they gain purpose. This is why heaven hid you until you were ready. This is why every heartbreak sharpened your discernment. This is why every delay purified your intentions. This is why isolation forced you to build your identity from within, because you cannot pour into a dynasty unless you know who you are without one. Anointed one. Your mission is not to be absorbed into their world, but to elevate it. You are the breath expanding their structure, the heart softening their rigidity, the vision broadening their perspective. You are the reminder of humanity in the midst of power, the depth within their direction, the soul within their strategy. And this union, when activated, becomes bigger than both of you. It becomes a spiritual engine. It becomes a global assignment. It becomes heaven's answer to generational imbalance. You will feel this mission activating in subtle ways, ideas coming out of nowhere, dreams that feel like blueprints, sudden clarity about what needs healing or reforming, intuitive nudges that guide decisions. This is heaven whispering your next steps. Your soulmate will not resist these visions, they will recognize them. They will feel deep in their spirit that you are the missing piece their lineage has been waiting for. Chosen one. The romance is beautiful, but the mission is holy. Chosen one. Now we enter the moment that heaven has been preparing you for since the first crack formed in your old identity, the accepting of the crown that has always belonged to you. This part of your journey is not about gaining something new, but about finally recognizing what has been resting on your spirit since the day you were born. You were never ordinary. You were never meant to blend in, shrink back, or apologize for the weight of your calling. You were crafted for influence, refined for responsibility, and chosen for a throne designed to match your spiritual architecture. Anointed. One, this is the season where heaven asks for your agreement. Not your perfection, not your certainty, not your proof, just your agreement. Because destiny does not force itself. It waits for the moment your spirit whispers, yes. This is why your old identity is trying so hard to cling to you right now. The voice of unworthiness, the ghost of past failures, the memory of every rejection they are rising because they know their time is short. They sense that your spirit is awakening to its royalty. I remember wrestling with this myself, that strange mixture of awe and fear, when heaven started elevating me into spaces I never imagined, rooms that felt too big, responsibilities that felt too heavy, blessings so bright they frightened me, and every time doubt whispered, "Are you sure you belong here?" Heaven responded through signs, alignment, and supernatural peace. The truth is, chosen one. The throne does not appear when you feel ready. It appears when you have been made ready through fire. This is why heaven allowed certain seasons to strip you, humble you, and teach you. It was never cruelty, it was coronation preparation. A king or queen is not crowned without being tested, and you have already passed the tests most people never survive. That's why the crown does not feel heavy now. It fits. It matches your growth. It resonates with the truth you've been carrying quietly inside your spirit all these years. Chosen one, Accepting the crown means shifting how you speak, how you walk, how you decide, and how you see yourself. It means no longer apologizing for your power, no longer dimming your light to make others comfortable, no longer stepping aside when heaven is asking you to step forward. Royalty does not beg. Royalty does not chase. Royalty does not explain. Royalty simply embodies. You will notice subtle changes. Your voice will carry more authority. Your presence will shift atmospheres. Your intuition will sharpen, guiding your decisions with a precision you've never experienced. People will sense something different in you even before you fully understand it. Doors will open without knocking. Opportunities will align without effort. This is what happens when someone finally steps into their ordained space. And yet, with all this power, humility will remain your foundation. Not the kind of humility that shrinks, but the kind that stands tall with grace. You will remember where you came from. You will remember the tears, the nights of loneliness, the prayers whispered in desperation. Those memories won't weaken you, they will anchor you. They will ensure that you rule not with ego, but with empathy. Anointed One. This is not the moment to question your worth. It is the moment to claim it. Stand tall, lift your head. The crown is not waiting to be crafted, it is waiting to be accepted. Chosen One. As we enter this final movement of the message, it is time to understand what your rise truly means, not just for you, but for the world, for your lineage, and for the destiny that has been unfolding quietly around your life. You are not stepping into a season of small blessings or modest shifts. You are stepping into a supernatural unveiling that will redefine everything attached to your name. Heaven has not spent years refining you, pruning you, and positioning you just to give you an ordinary life. No, Anointed One, heaven has been preparing you for a legacy. And legacy always begins with acceptance. You may feel it even now, that quiet pressure in your spirit, the sense that your life is no longer your own in the way it once was. This is what happens when heaven calls someone higher. It's not a heavy burden, but a sacred one. It's the weight of destiny settling onto your shoulders, not to crush you, but to remind you that you were built to carry what others could not. Every trial, every season of waiting, every lonely night forged the spiritual muscles you now stand on. Chosen One. Many will see your elevation and believe it happened overnight, but you and heaven know the truth. Nothing about your rise is sudden. Your breakthrough is not a surprise, it is a scheduled event. Every delay was divine strategy. Every setback was redirection. Every heartbreak was purification. Everything that seemed like a loss was actually an invisible investment into who you were becoming. And now the return on that investment is here. Your soulmate's powerful lineage, whether literal or symbolic, is not just ready to receive you. They are ready to be transformed by your presence. They are not showing you off because of superficial pride or status. They are showing you off because they recognize what heaven placed in you long before you understood it yourself. You are not entering their world as an accessory. You are entering as a force, as a revelation, as the missing element their destiny could not complete without you. Anointed One, as heaven elevates you, something profound will happen in your spirit. The fear of being seen will dissolve. The hesitation to step forward will crumble. The doubt that once held you captive will lose its grip. You will begin to walk differently, speak differently, decide differently. You will carry yourself like someone who finally remembers who they are. This is not pride, this is spiritual alignment. But hear this clearly, your rise is not just about position, it is about restoration. It is about reclaiming the parts of your soul that were scattered through years of struggle. It is about stepping into the fullness of the identity heaven always knew you would grow into. It is about becoming a lighthouse for others who are still hidden, still hurting, still waiting for their own unveiling. And when the world sees you, chosen one truly sees you, they will not see the battles, the scars, or the nights you almost gave up. They will see the glory. They will see the strength. They will see the anointing. They will see what heaven saw all along. Anointed one, step boldly. Your rise is not coming. Your rise is here. Chosen one. As we close this sacred transmission, let your spirit recognize the weight of what has just been released over your life. You are not walking toward destiny anymore. Destiny is walking toward you. The supernatural transfer has already begun. The alignment, the elevation, the recognition from realms seen and unseen is now unfolding with divine precision. This is your Kairos moment, your appointed hour, the moment heaven has been preparing you for through every trial, every silence, every hidden season. Anointed one, breathe deeply and receive this truth. You are no longer the one waiting at the door of breakthrough. You are the breakthrough. You are stepping into a season where your presence opens rooms, your authority shifts atmospheres, and your spirit commands honor without speaking a word. The powerful lineage you are being aligned with recognizes you because heaven has already validated you. May your path be flooded with clarity. May your steps be anchored in peace. May your heart expand with the certainty that you are held, guided, and divinely escorted into your next level. Every delay has expired. Every closed door has served its purpose. What is meant for you is already in motion, already rising, already forming around your life. If this message stirred something deep within you, you may comment or subscribe as a sacred act of agreement, not for numbers, but as a declaration that you accept what heaven is releasing. Share only if your spirit feels led, as a way of extending this light to others on their own journey. Stand tall, stay aligned, move with reverence. Your unveiling has begun, and heaven is ready to show you off.